Right. We will head to Jamie Weir from Sky Sports News. Go ahead, Jamie.
Thanks, Danny. Hello there, Joe. Fun and games of press conferences in 2021. I take it's just a bit too early for Mo, this second test. And if that is the case, then for Dom and Jack, another great chance, because I know even though they both got fifers, they both weren't particularly pleased with how they bowled.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mo's not going to be selectable for this game. It's a real shame. It's been a really tough tour for him so far, but it's great to see him back around the group and great to see him training again and easing his way back into upping his workloads and getting ready for Test cricket again. It's really exciting to see him back around the group after a long time away. We're all looking forward to him back at full tilt. But as you mentioned, it's another opportunity for guys to stick their hand up and improve on that first performance. We did a lot of very good things. You mentioned the two spinners, and the great thing for me is that, yeah, they had success, but they both got great attitudes where they want to get better, and they don't want to be happy with what they've done so far on this trip. They want to keep getting better and improve on the start that they've already had.
And in terms of the pace attack, obviously they put a hell of a shift in the first test, and it's pretty hot out there. How have their bodies recovered? And are you going to try to, maybe get some overs in Chris and Jimmy's legs for this second test?
We'll give you a team at some point either later today or tomorrow morning. We've got a big training session today where we'll finalise everything and hopefully get the team to you as soon as we can.
Just a couple more from me. I know quite a few of you watched the climax of the Australia-India match in Brisbane the other day. I know you're far too diplomatic to say what most of us in this call think, which is that it was great to see the smirk wiped off the Aussies' faces. But it does have to go down as one of the great series wins, doesn't it, given everything that India had thrown at them?
Yeah, it was a fantastic series to watch from start to finish. Very interesting, some brilliant cricket played, and India showed some great fight, great character, resilience, depth in their squad as well. The guys to come in and perform like they did. So it was, as a cricket fan watching Test cricket, I think it's a great advert for the game. And for us going out to India, it makes that tour even more exciting now.
And from your experience, when you've had a sort of emotional high like that India have had, it can either go one of two ways when you play your next series. You can either sort of be a bit deflated from it, or you can want to go again. From your experience, which one do you expect from India in a few weeks' time? I
expect India to be full of confidence, and in their own conditions, they're a very good team. They play some very good cricket. They know how to get the best out of the conditions. So we're going to have to be at our absolute best. But that's an exciting prospect for us. It's a great opportunity for us. It's a great way to aid our development as a side. And we'll be going there fully expecting to try and win that series. But we've got a lot of hard work to do before we get there. We've got a big test match here. We know Sri Lanka as well are very good especially at this ground. We've got a very good record, very proud record, and we'll be wanting to come back hard at us. So we've got to play some smart cricket again starting tomorrow for the majority, if not all, of the game. We can't be happy with what we've achieved so far on this trip, and in these conditions, we've got to look to go one further. Got to look to keep getting better. And we're very capable of doing that.
Thanks very much, Joe. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Cheers, Jamie. We'll go with Will and then Rory.
Morning, Joe. Can I just ask about your batting stocks? Ed Smith's going to name the squad later today for the first couple of tests in India, and you're going to have a few regular faces back. But the guys who have come in Johnny and Dan were alongside you, kind of the standout performers in the batting in the first test. Does it feel like you are heading towards having, or do you feel like you've got deeper batting stocks already than at any other stage in your captaincy?
I certainly feel like it's growing all the time, and that's a really exciting place for us to be. I mentioned previously that in terms of our fast bowling, you've seen more and more depth, and that's continued over the summer and throughout this winter, and that's really nice to see. And for that to now be happening within the batting, not just middle order but top order as well, I think it's a really good place for us. And the competition for places is always something that stands out in improving teams, and it's something that these big squads that we have in like a bubble life and modern day touring is actually a real benefit for. So it's great to have so many guys wanting to get better, really taking their opportunities and making the most of learning from these experiences, and it'll grow us as a team. It'll definitely make our squad depth better, you know, and hopefully that you'll see a continued improvement from the group.
It's early days, but does it remind you a little bit of a team you had to break into in 2012 and the period of success they'd had before? And what does it mean for the guys who are who have the shirt in this game? You know, is it just the message, just be ruthless, be selfish, keep that shirt?
The message will be let's make sure that we score big first innings runs, we make big partnerships, and we get ourselves ahead in the test match so that we can try and dictate terms from then on. In terms of comparing the teams, I think we're in a very different place to that side that I came into. It was a lot more settled, a lot more experienced, and probably had a bit more continued success behind it. You know, that's a side that was number one in the world, that had won in Australia, that won in India. So I think that we are at a slightly different stage. It'd be very easy to get ahead of ourselves and start thinking we're something we're not. We've got to make sure that we keep looking to get better. I think that's the most important thing. There are some very talented young players in and around this group with, you know, a mix of experience as well, but we have to look to take as much from these experiences as we can to grow as a team, to become more rounded cricketers, and to be better, you know, wherever we play in the world, in whatever conditions, on whatever surfaces.
Cheers.
Okay, Rory.
John, I know that the focus is on what you can do yourselves within your own dressing room, but you're a team who've had experience of starting a series poorly and sort of giving one away and having to chase the series and doing that successfully. Are you expecting Sri Lanka to sort of follow that template and be a much stiffer opponent this time than they were last week?
Absolutely. They're as I mentioned, they're a proud team with a great record at this ground. Not only that, they've got some very talented players, and we already saw throughout the game as it unfolded in that second innings, the way that they played with the bat in the second innings was very different to the first, you know, and showed that in those conditions they're a very hard side to break down. So we know that this isn't going to be an easy game for us. We're going to have to play some really good stuff for 5 days, but we're full of confidence. We're playing some good stuff. We've got plenty of good things to take into the week, and I expect us to try and back up that performance, and if not, better it. You know, that's our goal, is to continue to keep taking forward steps as a team, and you know, we've got 1 day to prepare well for that.
And I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Angelo Matthews said that he thought the Sri Lankan batsmen should look at you and learn how to bat in Sri Lankan conditions. It's not something we would have expected to hear from an England tour in the subcontinent, even in the recent past. What, you know, that's quite a feather in the cap to be told that you're basically the template for how to go about it over here, isn't it?
That's a lovely compliment. But I suppose the challenge for me and us as a batting group is to look to try and better that again. Now, I found a method that worked on that wicket and in that situation, and the challenge will be turning up tomorrow and trying to adjust and adapt to what's in front of us there. So it's of course that's a really nice thing to hear, but it'll mean nothing when we walk across the line tomorrow.
Okay, we'll go with Ceylon cricket, and then we'll go with Scott Taylor Talksport. Can you hear us? Ceylon cricket.
Hi, Joe. Good morning.
We'll come back
Hi,
to
Joe.
that.
Just wanted to ask you.
Let's go with Scott Talksport.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Joe. Just wanted to ask you, playing 2 consecutive tests in the same ground, is that the first time to you, and how do you feel about it?
We were fortunate enough to experience that in our summer, at the start of our summer. So we sort of course, the conditions are very different, but we got used to being in the same environment, same square and surroundings in our summer. So we're very used to that, and what we can do is try and take as much from the experience and the game last week, and try and ready ourselves even more so for this one.
Thank you.
Okay, 2 questions from Scott, and then we'll finish with one from John Etheridge. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Joe. I want to pick up on what you were talking about with Will earlier about scoring big first innings runs. I think it's 6 times in the last 12 innings you scored more than 400 in the first innings. Do you really feel that this blueprint that you're working with Chris is starting to have an effect on this England Test side?
Yeah, I think it's no secret that consistency comes from those big first innings runs. It really does set the game up for you. It gives your bowlers time and opportunity to build pressure. Not just with how you're bowling, but the scoreboard pressure in itself and the match situation. You look at the best teams that are right at the top of world cricket right now. That's what they do over and over again. All the best teams in the history of the game, that's what they've always done. They've made big first innings runs. So if we want to be consistent and we want to be serious about being the best team in the world, then it's something that we're going to have to replicate over and over again. But really pleased and proud to see the progress that we've made in that. Like you say, it's a good achievement so far, 6 out of 12. It'd be really good to see it continue throughout this winter, and for us to make that a real regular feat for us in this format.
And finally, I just want to ask about Dom and Zach. Obviously, the first test didn't go ideal for them in terms of runs scored. Have you had to speak to them this week? Have they come to you for advice on how to play in the subcontinent? How have they trained?
They've trained very well. They're 2 guys that are very eager to learn and get better all the time. Their attitude's brilliant towards improving their own games. And as a whole batting group, we've had plenty of discussions throughout the test match, after the game as well. And those conversations, that's what really aids a team in development. Talking to the guys out there that are experiencing the same things as you, trying to pick parts of it and add that to your own game, and grow as a player. And I think it'd be quite harsh to look into one test match and make a shotgun decision on them in these conditions. They're 2 guys that have found themselves in some real pressure situations in their short careers and come out the other side of it. And I expect a similar outcome with them this week as well. They're 2 fine players, but all of the experience they'll get from this winter will help them grow as a player. That will improve their game. It will make them more rounded and serve them really well for the rest of their careers.
Thanks, Joe.
And John, last one, please.
Morning, Joe. What sort of boost would it be to have Stokes and Archie back for India? And also, are you convinced that having rested them now will have long-term benefits as the rest of the year unfolds?
I mean, you speak to any side in the world, if they said that those 2 guys would be coming back into it, it would give the squad a huge boost. And that's certainly the case for us. They're 2 wonderfully talented players. And with the climate and the environment that we're in right now, that resting players is going to be vital moving forward. Like you say, it's a huge year of cricket, huge year of Test cricket, but also with the World Cup and a lot of one-day cricket and white ball cricket alongside it. We're going to have to look after players, and the fact that those 2 guys have had a rest ahead of everything else that they've got to contend with is really, I think it's going to be crucial that it doesn't just happen to them, to others as well, and that we look after each other, and we make sure that throughout we've got guys fit and ready to go and ready to perform physically and mentally for everything that's going to be thrown at us in the next 12 months. But very excited to see them back in and around the squad. Hopefully they're full of energy and ready to go when they get here.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a enjoyable